Congratulations on the win. Hard fought, maybe not the prettiest win, but I have to imagine that maybe your kind of win at the same time. Like
Neither
gutsy.
was Dallas. Nobody's going to care 2 months from now. The thing that we'll do with this game, though, is, we'll obviously assess the first half. And was it more than just the technical breakdowns? I mean, look, Obed must have lost 4 balls in a row. And, was it more than just a technical piece? Was there a tactical? Did we get something wrong tactically? Did we not cover something when they we got to look at that. But what I can tell you, what I might be on repeat is Stefan Frey is the best goalkeeper in this league. Because you can talk about goalkeepers that, want to play with their feet and help in possession and all that. But Steph makes every save that he has to. And their guy tonight didn't. Now, Jesus, I'm not taking anything off Jesus because it was a good turn and Paulie does his job and, whatever. But Stefan Frey is the best shot-stopping goalkeeper in this league, bar none. I don't care who I don't care. It's just it's a fact. And then you get like some of the intangibles. I mean, Stewie Hawkins. I mean, come on, he's defending against Chucky Lozano. He's doing what he needs to do. I mean, look, the kid, okay, he might have made one mistake or let the ball drop or it was a little slow, but I mean, come on. The kid's great. Jonathan Bell, I mean, he comes in the last game, does his job. He's quiet, nice kid, well-rounded kid, but does his job. And we're so thin, but those guys come and do a great job. JP comes in, does exactly what we asked him to do: win some tackles, get some balls, give us a little composure, a little bit of smarts, brains. It was good. Kalani, talk about a game kid. I mean, when he tried to chip the goalkeeper, I mean, we had a couple of chances to get to 2-0. Maybe he should have slipped Pedro, but I'm not going to kill the kid because Albert actually, top of the box, and when he did his little twirl, if he plays Pedro right away, Pedro's in on goal, and it's 2-0. So I can't kill Kalani, I can't kill Albert because they put it in, but that was a gritty performance, and that's why I liked it.
All right, Jada.
Thanks. Congratulations, too, on the win. Wanted to ask, it seemed like you had Danny and Pedro ready to go for Jesus. Can you talk a little bit about just that moment?
Yes, timing. It's, whatever happens up there, whatever you want to believe. I mean, they were coming off the field. And, fate has a way of being kind. Jesus is expecting a child. He's got a busy week. I hope this goal starts him off on a good way. We needed him to score. He needed to score, to get some of the fans off his back. I think he's done a lot of good things. And tonight, scoring the winning goal, just, it's the first. I told him afterwards in the locker room, I said, it's the first of many more goals for the Sounders. So kudos to him.
And then with Stewart, that decision there, was it a game that you don't necessarily want to have Jackson kind of playing? Because at that point, there was a lot of...
Great question, Jada. Jackson was only scheduled for X amount of minutes, and it wasn't 68 or whatever, whenever the injury happened. Jackson couldn't play that long. So Stewie's just going to go in. Next man up.
Nico.
To that question, I was wondering if did you get any sense on the gravity of Kim Kihei's injury at all?
No, we'll MRI it tomorrow. It's a left calf issue, and we'll see. Look, he was stretching it. He's put a lot of heavy minutes in. It's unfortunate that both Kim Kihei and Yaimar get injured in respective games, but the resiliency of the club. That's what we always preach. Guys step up. Jackson will be better and ready to play, and it's just next man up.
It seemed like all your subs really worked out, and you end up actually on top of San Diego. Now, how important is that in terms of moving forward and kind of giving the whole team just more confidence?
Well, the team didn't have a ton of confidence at halftime. I think the subs, yes, they came on and did their jobs. I talked about Kalani and JP and Misowski, Pedro, good. Those guys came on and did good. They all worked. But San Diego's a good team. In the first half, they took it to us. I mean, their possession is really good, and they couldn't find a goal to complement all the possession that they had. But Mikey does a good job, and that's a good team. So credit to him. Made it difficult, made it challenging, but this is MLS, and sometimes grit, determination, home, just one bit of quality that we have. Sometimes that's the difference.
All right, we'll swing over to this side of the room. I think you still have a question. You're okay, George.
Coach, it looked like when Stewart came on that you moved to three in the back.
No.
No?
Okay. We always play 3-2 in our possession, but it's a 4-2-3-1.
Okay. Just if you could talk a little bit about his performance and the fact that
great.
He came in at
unexpectedly
LAFC.
Good. We have high hopes for him. One of the reasons why we signed Kim Kihei was because we didn't think Stewart was quite ready. But if the kid can put performances like that, if he can show us that, he can do that on a consistent basis, then he's ready.
Hi, Coach. Congrats on the win. What would you say are some of the key differences between the first and second halves, and what did you say to the players going into that second half?
Well, we tried to change some things up tactically to try and get past their press. They have a 4-3-3 and a block of 6 in the middle of the park, and we weren't able to get past their pressure. So we made some tactical switches there. The second half wasn't our best in possession either, but it was just enough. I mean, there was that, couple of moments. I think some of our transition moments, obviously after we scored the goal, they had to come out, and then we had some more transition moments. But, I don't think this was our best performance. And again, we'll watch the tape and we'll try and assess it and figure out how we can do a little better.
All right, seeing some hands on Zoom, and if my eyes don't deceive me, I think that's Kellen Rowe from the booth. Kellen, if you want to bring yourself off mute and ask a question, we'll take it.
Hey, Coach, congratulations. Look, 2 games, you kind of grinded really hard there. This Sunday game against a team that's once again higher in the standings. What is your message to the guys who are coming in, obviously a little rotation with the injuries, but they had tired legs?
Well, the message is keep doing what you're doing. Look, we get an extra day rest against there, but Kellen, to your point, because you know what you're talking about, we got to assess. And then if there's guys that have a little nick or they've had heavy minutes, Alex was cramping there at the end, we might have to make some changes to start the game against Minnesota. And that's just par for the course in a 3-game week. So we'll assess everybody on Friday and then, pick a lineup on Saturday, and we'll try and get a 9-point week on Sunday.
All right, we'll go to Felipe Makeda next from El Rey 1360 AM. Felipe, go ahead.
Thank you. Coach Brian, you just said it wasn't your best performance, but at the end, 3 points are 3 points. The second half, you had Georgie Minongo kind of ready to come in, and you end up sending Kalani. What does Kalani offers to you different than the Georgie Minongo? And I want to know how was your defending? What do you think about the team defending the last 15 minutes of the game? Thank you.
Well, Kalani is a game player. He gives effort, energy. Georgie gives energy, but he's an attacking player. I just felt that this game was so close that I needed a more, two-way guy to help Alex. Alex has had heavy minutes. It was just a decision that you make on a game day. It has nothing to do with Georgie not being good enough to be inserted into the game. Georgie is a tremendous young player, good talent, but this game was just Kalani was the right choice.
All right, we'll go to Diego next, and then we'll see a couple of follow-ups, which is fine. Diego, go ahead when you get the mic.
Buenas, felicitaciones por el triunfo. Al igual que en el partido anterior se ganó sufriendo, una de las frases conocidas en el fútbol es equipo que gana no se cambia. ¿Qué cambios piensa hacer para el próximo partido en casa?
Congrats on the win. Similar to the past game, we won this game with some level of suffering. But there's a saying in soccer that when a team wins, you don't change the team. Are you planning on making changes on the team for the Sunday?
Yeah, we might have to, depending on how they come out physically. And obviously there's going to be one change because Kim Kihei is out. So that's one change already. And then rotation with some positions. I mean, it's normal. It's the benefit of, again, having a deep squad. Craig has given me a lot of players that, you know, can do the job, so I have to use them.
Sí, podríamos tener que hacer cambios definitivamente. De hecho, Kim Kihei no va a poder jugar y va a haber un cambio definitivamente que va a tener que suceder ahí. Y es parte de la rotación que tenemos que hacer. Gracias a al equipo que nos ha dado Craig, tengo la posibilidad de tener un equipo profundo que tiene muchas alternativas y debo usar todo eso, ¿no?
Gracias. All right, follow-ups here. Jada, do you still have one?
While few will, care, I guess, how this game played out, later on in the season, you got the win, but the way that your team is starting, though, they seem to struggle, again today. So is there concern on that, on wanting to get
Jada, we're unbeaten in 14 games going back to 24 at home. So our home form has been awfully good. I can think of some games that we did start out well. Actually, the Dallas game, the last game, we started out well. So I don't think there's a trend there. I don't think there's a trend. Obviously, San Diego's a little different beast because they like to keep possession, and when we keep giving them the ball back, that plays in their hands. So maybe that skewed tonight's, the way we think about it. But I think we've done really well.
And then I have a wild one, but Obed, he had a baby out there during the walkout. Do you know whose baby that was?
That was Chris Cornish's, the trainers. And that's a great question because all the Roldans and everybody had their kids out there, and I love it. Thank you for asking.
Coach, what is your take on Ryan Kent? It seems like last couple of games, the teams have been planning for him, maybe bracing him with a couple of defenders on that side. What do you think about his performance overall today?
He's a really good player. It wasn't his best performance, but it wasn't Obed's best performance. And other guys could do better in certain games. I mean, he's not perfect. He's a human being. He's a tremendous talent. He helps us. The couple times he does put teams under pressure just because the threat of him, all that matters. When you're able to drive teams back because the guy's dribbling at you, sometimes the action doesn't come across, it doesn't work, but the mentality of, oh, this guy's coming, and he's coming again. Oh my God, he's going to come again. It wears you down mentally.
And defensively, it just seemed like you guys have been so poised, ever since even the Portland game, and San Diego is a very good offensive team. What is it that you guys have been doing that just have been working when it comes to just overall defense?
Well, the tactical switch at halftime, we have Freddie sit upstairs, Freddie Juarez sit upstairs, and so normally we press out of a 4-4-2, but we switch in the second half to play with just one, Jesus with one, and then Albert and Obed with their pivots. And we kind of waited. We weren't quite as rushed in our pressing. And that's what Freddie caught from up above. And it worked way better. The first 10, 12 minutes of the second half, they didn't make us chase too much. We were able to kind of stay in a block. We were more fresh when we got the ball. So that's a good catch. And that was one of the tactical switches at halftime.
All right, we'll take two more, starting with Hector here, and then we'll come down to this side.
Coach, you mentioned that Obed didn't have his best game today, and when he doesn't has his best game, the team kind of notices it because of his importance on this season. What do you think he was lacking out there today? And I guess some of the things that you've been asking him to do more often this season that you didn't see there today. Thank you.
Well, there's 11 players on the field, and yes, you notice when any player isn't playing up to their potential. Not just Obed, he's just one part of a group. And the only thing that Obed just didn't have today, he had his movement, he had his running, he had his defending. He was just, his choice of his decision making and his technical passing ability was the only thing. And that's normal. He's human. He's 19 years old. He's going to make mistakes. He's not going to have a perfect game every time.
Close us out.
Hey, Brian. Congrats on the win. What can you say about Jonathan Bell's leadership as the
quiet leader?
Yeah, as Stuart,
but leadership by example is a great quality.
Yeah, because Stuart Hawkins comes in and puts in a great shift himself. To be able to pair up with an unexperienced player like Stuart Hawkins. What does that say about Jonathan Bell?
Well, what I would also tell you guys for your notes as you write this up, Jonathan and Stewie actually have played together at Defiance for a few matches. So it's not like they were just coming in blind. So that's the benefit of having Defiance and having guys play down there and everything. So Stewie and John Bell have had some minutes. I don't know the number of games, so I don't want to say anything, but it's not just one game, it's been more than one game. So, you couple that with what they do at training, they knew each other a little bit. So Jonathan Bell's leadership by example. He's a good athlete, had a very good game, and then Stewie, he surpassed his expectations in a large way.